Welcome back to another episode of 15 Nintendo Switch games to buy before they become rare and expensive. And thank you so much for tuning in. So, the first game that I want to talk about is Silent Hope, specifically the Day 1 edition for the physical, because this is one game that went under the radar. My copy is still sealed because I recently purchased it after watching some reviews saying how it was kind of a hidden gem. And this day one edition is awesome because it comes with the physical game, it comes with a 96-page art book, and it comes with a physical CD of the full soundtrack. And this game goes for $50. When I got it, it was 40 on Amazon. Hopefully, it's still going for that price so people can get a great deal on it. I got it through GameStop, got them to price match it because I have the pro memberships. That's the only way they do that now, unfortunately, I heard. But even though I haven't played this, I'm really hyped to play it because I listened to some reviews saying that it's a really good action RPG dungeon crawler where there's all kind of different classes that you can customize your character into, all kind of different characters you can play as, cool crafting mechanics, a cool hub world, and I've heard that the gameplay pretty much consists of you going down like into the depths and just trying to clear out as many enemies as you can before you have to go back to the surface because your health might be low or whatever, and you don't want to die down there because then you go back to the last save point and it doesn't save your progress. So it sounds like this one is a fun challenge, and I heard the boss battles are really epic too. I'm really looking forward to playing this game. And actually, what really sold me on this was Happy Console Gamer and his wife Kim talking about this game, how she was addicted to it. And one day when she went shopping, he went to level up her character and he really got into it. Okay, so the next game that I want to talk about is Pokken Tournament Deluxe, or DX for short. And the reason that I wanted to bring this game up is because if you look at the history of Pokemon games, even the mainline games, they always seem to hold their value and even go up in the future. And a lot of the spin offs do as well, like Pokemon Coliseum and the Mystery Dungeon games. And this is one that I started playing recently, and I really was not expecting to get hooked into it the way that I did. It's a really fun fighting game and one that's definitely worth having in your collection. And this one is kind of under the radar. I think a lot of people kind of forgot about it and don't know about it. And I believe as we're towards the end of the Switch life cycle, that a lot of Switch collectors and Pokemon collectors are going to be looking to get this game in the future. And I believe the value of this one will definitely go up. So next on my list here, we're going to take a look at some games from Square Enix. And the first one is Star Ocean: The Second Story R. This one is an awesome action RPG that has an awesome reversible cover for the physical. And the reason that I think this one will end up being rare is because it was very well received. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of physical copies for this one out in circulation. It does seem like it kind of got a low print run. I believe Square Enix will put enough copies out there for the people that want it, but I think further down the line, as we are in the end of the Switch life cycle, I think collectors will want this one. I think this one will definitely hold its value and possibly even go up in the future. I don't think they're going to make a ton of physical copies for this one. And this one features an awesome HD 2D art style, but it's kind of different than the other ones as the character models are 2D but the backgrounds are like full 3D. It's a beautiful game. Two different stories, two protagonists you can play as with two different perspectives. And I would say make sure you get this one sooner than later. All right, so next on my list here is Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD Remaster. And the copy that I have here, the American version, is nothing that's too rare or expensive right now. But if you have the Asian copy of this, I would say you definitely want to hold on to it, as that one is going for crazy expensive because the Asian one does have English and it actually has both games on the cartridge, whereas the American copy has only Final Fantasy X on the cartridge and 10-2 is a download. But I say it's still worth getting, and I think further down the line, this one, even the American one, could still possibly go up in value. I don't think you see a whole lot of new copies for this one in the store anymore, as this one did come out some time ago. So next on my list, another awesome Square Enix RPG, Bravely Default 2. And this one has been going for the low for a while, but I don't think that's going to last too long, as this one is an awesome, well-received turn-based RPG from Square Enix. Great visuals, great art style, great story, great music. And I just believe that now that we're toward the end of the Switch life cycle, a lot of these more niche RPGs further down the line are going to hold their value or possibly go up. Next on my list here is Warhammer 40k Shooters Blood and Teeth. And this one is a 2D run and gun shoot 'em up. Kind of plays like the Contra series. This one does have a lot of humor. It's a pretty fun game. I haven't played a whole lot of it, but this is also a really fun co-op experience as well. And this one does have some tough boss challenges. And the physical copies for these, I really haven't seen much at all. I don't think they've made a whole lot of them. I think this one will definitely end up being rare going forward in the future. So if you're into this style of game, I'd say get it now. Alright, so next on my list, Wild Guns Reloaded. And this is basically a reboot of the Super Nintendo game, Wild Guns. And this is a gallery shooter where you kind of stand in place. You can move like in the front ground on a little 2D plane, and you shoot the characters that are in the background. And it definitely is an old school Super Nintendo style game with the challenge. You definitely have to get used to the gameplay before you play this one, but it's not too hard. It's just one of those games where just don't expect to jump right into it and dominate. And this one you can still get for the low, but with this being an SNES reboot and not the most popular game, very niche, I think this one will definitely be rare in the future. Another awesome Super Nintendo reboot here on the list, the Ninja Saviors, Return of the Warriors. This one also does feature an awesome reversible cover, and this one plays like a 2D beat 'em up where you're in a dystopian future and you play as these ninja warriors who are actually androids trying to save the world from the threat, making it a dystopian future basically. This one is very challenging, but the beat 'em up mechanics are very unique. This is a very niche game, and I think this one will definitely become rare. If you're into those Super Nintendo style games and you're into beat 'em ups, I say this is one that you definitely want to get sooner than later. You can still get this one for a pretty reasonable price, not too expensive at all. But as we're going toward the end of the Switch life cycle, I think this one will definitely be going up. So the next game that I have to mention here is Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, because this game has a lot going for it. It has an awesome animated art style, awesome animated cutscenes designed by none other than Studio Ghibli. I hope I'm saying it right. Is it Ghibli or Ghibli? Let me know in the comments. But I'm a big fan of the studio, of their movies, and this is a great story-driven turn-based RPG from them, where it kind of plays a little similar to Pokemon. You have these creatures that fight for you, and I believe because of this being designed by Studio Ghibli, that this one will definitely go up in the future. You can get this one for the low. I think when I got it, it was 20 bucks. I'm not sure if it's that low anymore. Maybe for a used copy it is, but I would say definitely get this one sooner than later if you're an RPG fan and a Studio Ghibli fan. And also I have to mention Ni no Kuni 2. This one Studio Ghibli didn't work on, but it does retain the animated kind of Studio Ghibli art style. And this one, instead of being a turn-based RPG like the first game, it's an action RPG. And I'm not going to show any gameplay of these because I don't have any recorded for you all. Sorry about that. And I hear that Bandai Namco is really bad about striking channels down for using their trailer footage. Okay, so I have some more Pokemon games on the list here. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. And I'm going to count these as one game since they're basically the same game. You just get a different starter in both of them. There's some differences, of course, like you do have your version exclusive Pokemon. And in Let's Go Eevee, you can unlock more outfits for your trainer and your Pokemon. But the reason I'm mentioning these is because these are the first Pokemon games, mainline Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch, and they sold the least copies. And if you look at the history of Pokemon games always hold their value or even go up in value. And I think that later on, these will definitely go up. And I think that later on, people will actually realize that these are quite possibly the best mainline Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch, as Gen 1 is just a great generation. The only problem people had with these games was the catching mechanic was kind of like Pokemon Go, but everything else here is great. It looks great, it runs great, it's a great game. If you're a Pokemon fan, I'd say definitely pick these up sooner than later, as you can get these for good prices right now. So the next couple games that I'm going to talk about are actually two double packs. And the reason why I want to bring these games up is because I believe if you look at Nintendo Switch games, a lot of times these games with more than one games on their cartridge definitely really hold their value, and I believe will definitely go up in the future. So the first one that I want to talk about is the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And this game plays as a visual novel, kind of detective style game where you are an attorney helping your clients in their court cases, and you kind of have to look at the evidence, point out the evidence to prove their innocence. I only played the first chapter of the first game in this one, but it was a lot of fun. The only reason I put it down is just because I'm usually looking to get into more involved games that feature combat and all that kind of stuff, but this is a great game that I definitely want to go back and play. And with two games on one cartridge, it's a great game. Visual novels are already kind of a niche game genre, so I'd say this is one that you definitely will want to get sooner than later. I've seen it dropping lower in price right now, I believe, but don't expect that to last forever. Now, the next one that I have to mention is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, because this is the only official portable version of these games, and they run great, look great on the Nintendo Switch. The multiplayer is a lot of fun. I think it even has online. I haven't tried that part out yet though, and it does say download required, but this game actually does feature both games on the cartridge, fully playable with no download. I tried them out. I was having a lot of fun with them. I thought they ran just fine, but I don't have a PS5 or the newest Xbox, so I can't really compare to those consoles, but the download is for a performance patch and to download the multiplayer aspect of this game. But I'd say this one is definitely great value for what you're getting, two games on one cartridge here, and I expect this one to definitely go up in the future. So last but not least, we're going to end this video talking about two games from Nintendo's very own mascot, Super Mario. So the first one, Paper Mario, the Origami King. And this game was praised for its good writing and its art style. It features origami characters basically made from paper origami. It looks really cool. The only gripe people had with this game was the combat system, but I'm definitely still looking forward to playing this one. It's a very unique game. It was pretty well received, and the reason I'm putting it on this list is because there's definitely not a whole lot of copies out there for this game. So I believe as we get into the end of the Switch life cycle, this game will definitely hold its value and probably even go up in value in the future. Now, the final game on my list, Mario Party Superstars. Everyone knows this is the best Mario Party game on the Nintendo Switch. It features all the classic games and boards, not all, but a lot of them from the classic N64 and GameCube Mario Party games. And if you look at the history of Mario Party games, they usually end up holding their value and even getting pretty expensive if you look at the GameCube ones, the N64 ones. So this is one that if you're a Mario Party fan, this is one you'll definitely want to get. I'd say don't worry and rush to get it. I think there should be plenty copies available of this game, especially now that we're going into the holiday season. But I'd say don't wait years to get this one because I expect this one to definitely go up in the future. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, informative, or entertaining, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And until the next video, peace.